Hi guys, so today's case study is about Lance Armstrong and his life growing up through his cancer and his life through his athletics and his life through doping. So Lance was always a strong athlete, and at a young age he started his career in triathlons and races. I think it said when he was 8 he ran his first race. But in 1996, when he was 25, he was diagnosed with testicle cancer, and that spread to his lungs and his brain. I think it's crazy that he even lived through that, let alone kept racing after that and training. But he continued his career after he had cancer and after he had intensive chemotherapy. There were a lot of people who didn't support Lance in his recovery because they basically didn't want to bet on his deathbed. They said, quote, "Professional cycling teams feared he would never rebound to his previous potential and refused to sign him to a contract." But after only 1 year, Lance was able to recover fully and go on to win 7 consecutive Tour de France. Lance's recovery process was fairly short, I think, considering his condition and his body, but I think that it was so short because his body was seen as a superhuman, basically. His strengths were incomparable. It says, quote, "His VO2 max measured almost 90% higher than the average man and 42% higher than an active trained man. And his body also produced less lactic acid." Being an athlete, that is like heaven. That's crazy. People were very quick to judge Lance, and after his recovery, he was able to raise $381 million towards cancer programs and was still sponsored by Nike, Oakley, and Giro. Tour de France is a crazy race. It consists of 3,500 kilometers of different terrain found in France, including flat, hilly, and mountainous terrain. And with the courses changing every year, it is the oldest and most prestigious of the UCI's 3 major tours. Doping isn't a new thing. It didn't start when Lance Armstrong started doing it, and it's still prevalent today in athletics. It was a huge deal in 1969, though, when they found that many of the cyclists in the Tour de France were doping. So doping has been and is still prevalent in athletics today. It was a huge deal in 1969, but that's not when it started. When they found that many of the cyclists in the Tour de France that year were doping, they called it the Tour de Dope. And, quotes, 20 of the 21 top 3 finishers of the Tour each year between 1999 and 2005 subsequently either tested positive for or admitted to doping at some point in their career. Over time, doping has been formed into a very bad instance. If an athlete is caught doping, he or she will be banned from the sport. It ruins lives and careers, and I don't understand why people still do it. It's stupid. And in fact, just recently, the Russian Olympic team was tested positive for doping, and now Russia is banned from the 2016 Olympics. I just think that it's crazy that people will do anything to win. All of this is kind of crazy, and these athletes are saying that it's okay because it's been done for 100 years. And I think to apply the dark triad in this case is very simple. It's psychotic because the athletes think that they have to do it. They don't care that it is banned. All they think about is how it will help them. It's a form of Machiavellianism because they're manipulating themselves by telling themselves that, quote, cycling cannot separate itself from its own history. This is impossible. When 100 years ago someone decided to cheat in the Tour de France, that got the ball rolling. It kept rolling. Whether one rider stopped doping in 1956, 1976, 1998, or 2006, that fact that at one point the rider doped has contributed to pervasive culture of doping, end quote. And of course, it's a form of narcissism because they love when they win and they love being even, which is what they said. Quote, I went in, this is what Lance said, I went in and just looked up at the definition of cheat. And the definition of cheat is to gain an advantage on a rival or foe that they don't have. I didn't view it that way. I viewed it as a level playing field. So I think that Lance's actions, as well as hundreds of other athletes' actions, have been shown other athletes that doping can help you, but it isn't good for you. It isn't a good idea. It'll ruin your career. It'll ruin your athletics. You'll be banned. It's not a good idea at all. I know, being an athlete, I know how hard it is to lose in a race or to see someone younger than you excel beyond you. I believe that, yes, past awards should be confiscated and the athlete should be banned from all future events. This isn't only cheating, but it is killing. Doping and performance-enhancing drugs are so dangerous. I really enjoyed this case study because I can relate to it on an athlete level. I know the struggles of losing, but I would never even think to put myself in a position like this. It takes someone out of their minds to do something like this to their bodies. Even if it takes years for this athlete to be caught, it is still harming the athlete and the people around the athlete. I think that this is relevant to this course because it shows the examples of the dark triad. It is truly a crazy thing to dope and use drugs for success. And it's interesting to see what people think and how they come to the conclusion that it's a good idea to do such things.